Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome. So, today's topic that I want to talk about is tuning into how your body is feeling energy and how, your intuition and things like that. And a little bit of a backstory of why I wanted to do this and talk about this and make a video is because I I am engaged to be married, and he's a wonderful man, and I actually am going to be moving to another country in the future. So all of this was kind of weighing on me, and we had a date in mind, and that was significant to us over the course of our relationship in the last 2 years. So, but I had been really feeling this energetic pull that I so was struggling with to try and do. And, um, like, should we get married this year? Should we wait till next year? Then what are the logistics about moving and this and then that and everything else coming in and going? And it just was like pulling at me, and it's not even relationship um like issues related. It's not that at all. We have a fantastic relationship. And so at 2:30 this morning, my brain was still moving through this, because the date that we chose is approaching soon, in the next couple months. It's in April. And so I went down this little rabbit hole on research with energetically using our astrology at, with his birth date, time and place of birth, with my birthday, time and place of birth, and energetically how the two of us are compatible with things and how it relates to the date that I chose. I asked, should it, what is the significance of if we got married in April of 2026 versus 2027? Obviously, the biggest thing is a longer span so that, we would have time to put things together and also orchestrate the logistics of the move, right? But my intuition kept nudging me and nudging me that I could not lock in the date. And, anybody that's planned anything big, well, it's going to be a small wedding, but it's a big event, right? Anybody that's planned anything like that knows you usually need a few months ahead to get everything together. But I couldn't lock in the date. My gut kept saying to me, just something isn't feeling right, okay? So I am so glad I trusted my energy and my intuition and did some research based on our astrology and putting it together. Because one thing I did not realize or didn't take into account or anything was where the date landed in the calendar year. Okay, so keep that in mind. So after I go through everything, it broke down how our relationship is right now based on the dates, when we met, when we first started talking, when we first physically met, and then our charts. And I am telling you, it really was spot on with where we are feeling in our relationship. We have a very great dynamic relationship and how it had come together. But it did say that 2026 really should be rethought. And here's why. And this is why my energy was telling me, don't lock in because something is up. That date falls in Mercury retrograde. So if anybody is familiar with Mercury retrograde, we know that it is not a good time for contracts. It's not a good time for vows. It's not a good time for making commitments. If you can avoid them, do so. Because a lot of times the energy during that time of retrograde is so wonky that it just has everything and everybody all, if you do have to sign any contracts or anything like that, you need to make sure during this time you read the fine print all the way down. It's just inevitable. Read the fine print on everything and sit with the decision before you actually sign anything. So with that being said, it broke down like the state this, the state this, the state this. When it got to Mercury retrograde, I was like, stop the press right there. That's a hell no for me. I follow Mercury retrograde, and usually I don't have a lot of issues during Mercury retrograde because I'm conscious of it, and I try not to do the things that do this with my energies, right? So I said, okay, well, with the date being this is what we want to do. The date, we want to do the ceremony on this day as well, and then we do the move to the other country. And it's said that your absolute best day is to do this in 2027. One of the other reasons in 2027 was when you break down 2027, we're now in a 2-year. And 2 in numerology is your duality, your partnerships coming together. And in my case, that's relating to our union. And it is a much more powerful time. It's not during a retrograde, and it is just so energetically aligned. And as soon as I got it to where it told me why holding off to 27 was better option, the energy and the feel in my body just lifted up. And I was so relieved because I had a direction. I shared this with my fiance and I said, I want you to read through all of this completely and tell me what your take is on it. I know what mine is. You tell me what yours is based on everything. We're both on a spiritual level. So we match each other when it comes to that. So there was no question in that, but I wanted to see what his honest take was on it before I gave my take. And he was exactly the same thing. He's like, oh no, we can't do it in 26. And I was like, why? He said, the Mercury retrograde, we're not even going to try that. Not when I'm having to come down and, and everything. And I said, Exactly. I said that's exactly where I was. So you see, what I'm saying is very, when you are in tune with your own senses and your own body and your own spiritual growth, you learn to recognize these things. You learn to know that when something is just not feeling right, go research, go look it up and find out, why are you feeling like this? You don't even necessarily need to do it from an astrological time frame. I did it from that because I was working with dates, and that's why I wanted to do it from there. Um, but you can simply, research different like energetic feelings, and why would this be like this, and why could I be feeling like this? What are some of the trigger things? What are some of the key points? What are some of the red flags? What are some of the green flags? Different things like that, and working with it. We all have this intuition within us. We all have it. Some people say, not all say, but some say, oh, I don't have that. I don't have it. Yes, you do. You do have it. Everybody has it. It's just on how you choose to pull it in, how you choose to be receptive of it. That is what guides you into your thought pattern of, you have it, you don't have it, because we all have it. It's in there. So it's so fulfilling to me, because it shows me how much my growth has been. And I have been saying for a few weeks, a few months actually, that I know I am leveling up. I know I'm going to the next level in my spiritual world, in everything, because I totally feel it. And I'm at that point where I'm at this like lull of, I feel like I'm not doing anything and I should be doing something. But even then, I still continue to do research, and it tells me, sit in your stillness, because your big level up is coming, and we want you prepared when that comes, because it's going to be huge. It's going to be significant. And that's why I wanted to do this little tidbit on being mindful of your feelings and trying to figure out ways to process them. And if you're not savvy with the doing the research, reach out to people that can do it for you. Reach out to those people. Sometimes it is worth that extra energetic exchange in order to guide you with answers. We're not going to completely give you a whole full-on answer. This is how it is. This is how it's got to go. This is where you need to be. Our answers are going to come from what we know, what our research is, and what it could be if you go down this route or if you go down that route. There's so many different things. Sorry, my iPad is... I'm going to pause you for a second. Okay, I felt like my screen was falling and you were going to like lose my head here and be like, hello. But so anyway, back on the energetic feeling and being mindful of where you are in your journey and how you're processing things and how you do go through it. And if you need help or guidance, you know, don't be afraid to ask for people for help. You know, like I said, I'm fortunate enough to know that I'm far enough in my journey that I kind of knew where to go find some answers and what questions to ask to get those answers. And I, again, was using the numerology part of it, or the astrology part of it, dealing with our charts and everything. And now we have a date locked in for 4/22 of 2027. The 4 is significant. It's like your foundation, your stability. 22 is a master number with, you know, coming together and everything. And then of course 2027 reducing down to a number 2 cycled year. And I'm not going to get into that whole thing maybe in another conversation. This was just a conversation to come in and see who else out there is actually feeling strong pulls on some type of a decision that they need to make. So maybe there's other questions that need to be asked. Maybe there's other directions that we need to go. Maybe there's other ways that we need to look at it. My card pull yesterday was like going down the river and your transformation and being mindful of things that might not be clear, but knowing that they're there. The universe, God's source, whatever you follow, has you. You just have to trust it and ask them for answers. Ask them for directions. And then listen. What do you hear? Do you hear buzzing? What time was the buzzing? What's the significance of that time? Do you see something that's different, that's you don't really see? Do you see owls more? Do you see ravens coming in? I see a lot of those lately. They are all significant. They're all symbols. You just need to know what they mean. That's where your research comes in. That's where you go and research. And that's what I did. Went down my little hole, did my research, found that. And then I proceeded to plan the whole entire wedding day. And it's ready to go for 2027. So we're doing a lot of non-traditionals. We're bringing in a lot of ritual and honoring of our past loved ones and honoring our makes me emotional because it was just, yeah, honoring our children that will be involved in the ceremony and you know, just pulling it all together in that circle union with our witnesses and our loved ones. And so yeah, it's amazing. So that was my topic, my conversation for today. I wanted to share that with everybody and see who else is out there. And again, if you want to get notifications on when I come on and post, you know, hit that subscribe button so you can follow along. I will be starting up our Mystic Mosaics but with Drazak Den, which is the podcast, where I'm going through all types of different modalities in the spiritual world, and we're just having little discussions on all of those and the different things and learning about those. We will be picking that up. I started it last year, probably like the second part of the year, but I ended up having to stop because I had family issues that I had to take care of. My dad was ill and he did end up passing away in August, so after that, it was like cleaning up the estate, getting that cleared, and then getting myself back into it and acclimated. And then the holidays were rolling in. So I just decided to kind of stop, and we'll pick it back up this year. So, because it was exciting, it was good. So that might be something you want to go find. You'll see that it'll be listed in my thing. It's Mystical Mosaics with Drazak Den, and it has like the chakra colored background, and it has me holding a crystal in it. So go find that and follow that too. Subscribe. And yeah, so on that note, I am not going to babble on and keep you guys here anymore. I love you guys so much. I am so glad that, you know, that it is starting to pick up and people are starting to bring in traction. And, you know, the community out there of you all is just, you're fabulous. And we all support each other in some way or another. And let's continue to do that. And let's continue to bring that into the world and push out all that other stuff. I love you all. Thank you so much for joining me today.